Hi guys, so today we are going to study about square root, which is your chapter 2. Okay, so if you take square root, okay, before studying about square root, you all have to know about something known as squares, okay. So what are considered as squares, okay? So when you take squares, always remember that we are going to take any number, okay? We are going to take any number and we are going to multiply it by the same number. So the answer that you get here is considered as a square, okay? So what is a square? You are going to take any number and you are going to multiply it by the same number itself, so that the answer that you get is known as your square. Okay, so if I take 1, I'm going to multiply it by 1 itself, so the answer that I get is 1. So 1 is the square, okay? 1 is the square of the number 1, okay? And if you want to write this, if you want to write this or show this shortly or smaller way, then how can you show this shortly? That is, you have to write the number 1 and you have to see how many times do you get it. That is 2 times. So you will come and write here 2. How many times that you have here, you will come and write it on the top 2. So how do you read this? That is 1. Okay, you read it as 1 squared. Okay, so you read it as 1 squared. And now let's go through the other number. That is, we are going to take 2 and we are going to multiply it by 2 itself, that number itself. So what's the answer you will get? 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. So 4 is your square of the number 2. Okay, 4 is the square of the number 2. So how can you write it shortly? That is, you write 2 and how many times do you have it? 2 times. So write it here on the top. So how can you read this? That is 2 squared. You can read it as 2 squared. Okay, now let's go through the other one. That is, if you take 3, you have to multiply it again by 3. So what will be your answer that you will get? 3 multiply it 3 times. Okay, you have to multiply it 3 times. Okay, 3 multiplied by 3 is how much? That is 9. Okay, that is 9. Most of you all go wrong here because you all three think, okay, you all think that I have to multiply 3 by 2 because I have 2 times, no, so I have to multiply 3 by 2. So 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. Like that you all are writing it, but it is totally wrong. Always remember that when they have given you one number, you have to multiply this by the same number so that the answer that you get will become your square. This answer that you consider here it as a square. Okay, now let's go to the fourth one. 4 multiply by 4 itself, it will give you how much? 16. So 16 is your square. And if you take 5, you have to multiply it by 5 itself. So what's your square? 5 multiplied 5 times. 5 times. So 5 into 5 is how much? That is 25. Okay, 25. Okay, don't take it as 2, take it as 5 times. So 5 multiplied by 5 is how much? That is 25. So this is your square. Okay, now did you all understand how to find squares? Okay, so whenever you take a number, okay, to find a square, what you have to do here is you have to take a number and you have to multiply it by the same number. So the answer that you get here is considered as the square. So what are the squares that we found here? When they ask you, say me 5 square numbers, then what will you say? If they ask you to say me 5 square numbers, what will you say? 1 4 6 1 4 9 16 and 25. These are your square numbers. And also remember, we call these as perfect squares. Okay, we call these as perfect squares because you can see here all the numbers are what? All the numbers you get it here is a integer. It's an integer. Integer means, what do you call it as integer? Always remember, integer means whole number. Integer means whole number. So whatever numbers you have got here as your squares, these are what? These are integers. These are whole numbers. A whole number, not a decimal number. So whole number means like 16 9 4. You don't have a decimal number. So whenever you have integers like this which are squares and you don't have a decimal number but fully integers or the whole numbers, if you get these as squares, you call it as perfect squares. You call it as perfect squares. Okay, because you don't have decimal, you only have integers here, you only have integers here as squares, so you call it as a perfect squares. Okay, now here in this lesson we are mainly going to concentrate on square root. Okay, so it is square root. How can you all find a square root? So square root means, okay, always remember, square root means it is the opposite. Okay, it is the opposite of squares, or you can say the inverse. Inverse, opposite, both are same. So the opposite of your squares, you consider it as a square root. Okay, you consider it as a square root. How can you find it? That is, if you take, okay, let's take it something like this. They have given you 25 here, right? So when you take this 25, this is the square number. So when you get this square, remember, when you see what is that two number, what are those two numbers which you multiplied so that you got 25, that number you consider it as the square root of 25. That means you have 25 as your number, which is your square. So what are the two numbers that you multiplied so you got 25 as your square? That number by which you multiplied is considered as the square root of 25. Wait, I'll show it. It's just the opposite of squares. Okay, so if you take square root, what can you say? Always remember that we use a symbol like this in square root. You call it as a radical. You call it as radical symbol. So we use this symbol and we write any square. Okay, now let's say I'm taking here 16. So when I'm writing 16 here, remember that this is the number where you are going to find the square root. Okay, so when I write like this, I have to write the, draw the symbol, and I have to write the square number here. And now I have to find what is that two number which I multiplied, so I got this answer as 16. Then that number that you multiplied is considered as your square root of 16. Okay, now say me, what are those two numbers that you multiplied to get 16 as your answer? That is 4. 4, if you multiply it by 4, the answer that you get here is 16. So the number which you multiplied, okay, so the number which you multiplied here, that number is considered as the square root. That number is considered as the square root of 16. Of 16. Did you understand? Now if I give you something like this, okay, I'm giving here 36. Okay, find me the square root of 36. I will ask a question like that. So what will you all say? That is, square root of 36 will be, what do you all know? It should be any two numbers which you multiply. That number which you multiplied will be your square root of 36. So what is that number? That is 6. If you take 6 and multiply it by 6, so the answer that you get here is 36. So this answer is known as square. See the difference? This answer is known as square. Okay, when you take two numbers and multiply it, so the answer you get here is known as a square, and the number by which you multiplied, okay, is known as a square root. The number which you multiplied is considered as a square root of 36. Okay, so now you all might have understood what is known as a square root. Okay, now if I say, give you a number like this, okay, that is 64. Now say me, what is the square root of 64? Square root of 64 will become 8. Yeah, 8 eights are how much? That is 64. So square root will become 8. Again, if I give you another number, okay, I'll say here 49. Okay, 49. What's the square root of 49? That is 7. 7 is the square root of 49. I hope you all might have understood this. Okay. Now see here, whenever they are giving you numbers like this, 16, 36, 64, 49, for those numbers you all can easily find the square root like this. For those number you can easily find the square root like this. Okay. But let's say for an example, okay, let's say that for an example, now I am taking something like this. Okay, now I'll say here I'm taking 4 as my number, and again I'm taking 9 as my number. Okay, now say me, what is the square root of number 4? That is 2. And what's the square root of 9? That is, what's the square root of 9? That is 3. Okay, so these are your square roots. These are your square roots. Now say me that, for example, I'm taking any number in between 4 and 9. I'm taking 5 or I'm taking 6. So whenever I get a number like this, okay, whenever I get a number like this, what should I get as my square root? Do you all know that? What's the square root that you all should get? Do you all know that? No, you don't know what will be your square root. But you all know one thing, that is that number should be in between the value 2 and 3. That number should be between the value of 2 and 3 only. You know that, because if you take between 4 and 9, okay, if you take 4 and 9, the square root you get is 2 and 3. So however, if you take any other number like 5 or 6, if it comes in between, the value that, or the square root you should get is, however, it should be in between 2 and in between 3 only. But can you all say me one answer? That is, do you all think that whatever square root you get here, will you get it as an integer or not? Integer means whole numbers like 1, 2, 3, like that. Will you get an integer here? What do you think? No, you all won't get an integer here. Why? Because after 2, what do you have? Only 3. So do you have any other number in between? No. Then how can you get an integer? You will not get an integer, but you will get a decimal answer here. You will get a decimal answer here, but you will not get integer, only decimal will come in between this. Okay, in between 2 and 3 you will only get what? You will only get a decimal answer here. Okay, you all know that here, however, you all will get a decimal answer. But now you all have to say me, if you all get a decimal answer here, what are you all going to do? How are you all going to find it? In order for you all to find only, we are going to do something known as approximate, or we are going to take a approximate value. Okay, to find the square root of these numbers. Okay, to find the square root of these numbers, what are you all going to do here is, you all are going to find an approximate value. How? Approximate value means you all are going to find the value which is closer. Okay, we are going to find the value which is closer to this number. Okay, which is closer to these numbers. I am going to find the value which is closer to these numbers. So you call it as an approximate value. A closer value I'm going to take in between them, I call it as a approximate value, or we can call it as approximation method. We can give it a name known as approximation method. This is a method where you are going to find the square root of numbers like these in between these numbers by finding the closer value. By finding whatever closer value that I have in between them, I'm going to use it and find my square root for these numbers. So you call this as approximation method. You call it as approximation method, where you are going to find a closer value. Did you all understand? Okay, now let's go and do it. Okay, so under approximation method, remember that we have something known as approximation. Okay, you can call something known as approximation. Okay, approximate to the first decimal place. Okay, we have something known as approximate to the first decimal place, or we give it another name that is known as first approximation. first approximation. Okay, now we are going to find the square root according to this method. Okay, but don't think about it now. How are we going to do it? What is this approximate to the first decimal place and all? Don't think. While I am explaining, I will get to this point. Okay, now we are going to find the square root according to this method only. Remember that. Okay, now for an example. I am going to take. Okay, I'm going to take the number. Okay, I'm going to take the number 17. Okay, now they are asking you. Okay, now they are asking you to find the square root of 17, but do you all have a perfect answer for this? Like, okay, just like we have square root of 16 means we can say okay 4 like that, or square root of 9 is 3 like that. Do you all have a perfect answer for this? No. So however, you all know you all are going to get a decimal value, but say me, how are you all going to find it? For that, always remember, do step by step. Okay, so for that, first of all, you all are going to see what are the two numbers which are closer to 17. What are the two numbers which are closer to 17? So if you take lesser than 17, say me one value, that can be 16. Lesser than 17, you have 16. And another closer value which is greater than 17. What is it? Greater than 17, what do you have? That is 25. Now we are taking 25. Okay, so we found out two values, like 16 is closer to 17 but lesser than 17. 25 is closer to 17 but greater than 17. We found it. Okay, now what are we going to do here is we are going to see the square root of 16. So what is the square root of 16? That is 4. And what is the square root of 25? That is 5. Okay, square root of 16 is 4 and square root of 25 is 5. Now what are we going to do here is we are going to see, okay, what's the difference between 16 and 17? Difference means like what's the gap between them? Okay, to find the gap between 17 and 16, you have to subtract it. From 17, if you minus 16, what's the answer that you will get? That is 1. That is your difference. And if you take here in between 17 and 25, what is the difference? For that you have to subtract it. So 25 minus 17 is how much? 8. Okay, you're going to get how much? 8. So 8. Okay, so when the difference is 8, we found both the difference. Here 1 is your difference between 17 and 16, and here 8 is the difference between 25 and 17. Okay, now what are we going to do here is we are going to find the value. Okay, we are going to find the value, the square root of 17. But for that, what you have to do here is, now see here, we know that however it is going to be in between 4 and 5 only. Okay, the value is however going to be in between 4 and 5 only. Okay, for that, okay, for that we have to see what is the difference which is very lesser. Okay, we have to see the difference which is lesser. So the difference which is lesser here is 1. 1 is the one lesser. That means if it's lesser means this one will be the closer value. Okay, if the difference between 16 and 17 is 1, this is the smaller value, so this one will become your closer value to 17. Okay, this 16 will be the closer value to 17. But if you see the difference here, it is 8. You can't take it. Why? You can't take it here because the gap is larger. But here it is lesser. So this lesser one will become your closer number, closer value. So whatever value that you are going to take here, it can be what? Because it's closer to 16, square root of 16 is 4. I can take 4.1. 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, like that I can take it. I can't take 4 because it's already there. No, I can take more than that, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4. But 4.5, I have to take under 5 only. Okay, these are the values you can just take. I'm just saying it as an example. 4.5 should come under 5 because if the last place, if you have 5 or more than 5, it will come under the next value, that is 5. Okay, but there are some situation where this 4.5 can come under 4 also. That means There are some situations where we will be using this also, but always remember like 4.5 will come under this next value, that is under 5. And after that 4.6, 4.7, 4.8 and 4.9. Okay, so these are the 5 we can't take because already given. So now you all have to think. Okay, I told that 16 is the closer one, so I have to take the values under the 16 only, but I have an easy method for y'all that y'all can use it. How can y'all use it? Means remember that however we have to use this part, no, however we have to use 4 only. Okay, so always take this 4. Okay, this part, whatever number, take that number here, whatever number you have, take it here, that is 4. And after that, here what's the difference that you got? 1. So keep it 1 and divide it by, here how much is the difference you got? 8. So you have to add these two difference together. Okay, 1 plus 8 will give you how much? 9. 9 you will come and put it in the bottom. 9 you will come and put it in the bottom. Did you understand? To find which value is suitable. Okay, to find the square root of 17. Okay, which value is suitable, what are we going to do is, we are going to do an easy method, that is take this number here, whatever number that you have, 4, and take this difference here from here 1, and add both the difference, 8 plus 1, that is 9, come and put it on the bottom, divide it like this. Now after that, divide this 1 over 9 separately, go and divide this 1 over 9. Okay, so that you can easily find it. Okay, so separately go and find 1 over 9. So if you take 1 over 9, you have to divide it. How can you divide it? Divide this. Okay, divide the 1 by 9. When you divide 1 by 9, how many 9 do you have inside 1? No. Okay, so 0. Then I'll bring a 0 here to the bottom and a decimal here. Okay, so in 10, how 9 do you have? 1 time. So 9 into 1 is how much? 9. 10 minus 9 is how much? 1. So that's it, enough. So here, whatever value you got, no, like 0.1, that's enough. Even though you have a remainder, take this value, that is 0.1. So instead of 1 over 9, what you have to put is put 4 here. Instead of 1 over 9, you have to put 1 here. Okay, 0.1. 0.1 means if you add 0.1 to 4, how much will it become? 4.1. Okay, 4 plus 0.1 will give you how much? 4.1. So I am making this value which is 4.1. So here I have to take 4.1 value. Okay, here I have to take the 4.1 value. However, I know from this side only, so I'm going to take 4.1 value and I'm going to multiply it again by the same number. So I'm going to see what will I get here. So easily, that means sometimes, okay, more, that means sometimes you'll get the answer as 4.1, sometimes the other number, like that it can happen. But for you to find it easily, most of the time you will get this as your answer. Let's see, okay, whether we are getting or not, but it happens, sometimes it won't happen. So this is a method where you can easily use. Okay, so no need to always multiply everything. So like 2 to 3, if you multiply, that's enough. Sometimes, okay, it will become different, but most of the time this will become your answer. Okay, so 4.1. Okay, now 4.1, what are you going to do here is, you're going to multiply it. Okay, 4.1, if you multiply it by 4.1, how much will you get? 1 multiplied by 1 is 1, again 1 by 4, 4, again 4 into 1s are 4, 4 into 4s are 16. Okay, and here dot dot. Okay, keep it like this. And now 1, 4 plus 4 is how much? 8, 6 and 1. Now here you got 2 decimal places to take it from behind, 2 decimal places. So what's the answer? 16.81. 16.81. Okay, now you got this as your answer, but it's 16.81, not 17 yet. So let's multiply 4.2 by 4.2 also. Okay, now let's see what's the answer that we are getting. 4.2 by 4.2, 2 multiplied by 2 is how much? That is 4, and 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. Keep the dot. 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, again 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. So here 4, 8 plus 8 is how much? 8 plus 8 is 16. So here 6, 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. So 1. So here 2 decimal places. So take it behind like this. So how much will you get? 17.64. Okay, now already we got this. Okay, already we got 16. We got 17. No need to do 4.3, 4.4 and all. No need to do and see. We should get this 17. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we have to find the square root of this. No, now we multiply. If you go more than this, you will get here 18 like that only. Okay, so no need to multiply like that. This is enough. Okay, now say me which value is closer to, which value is closer to 17. What can you say for that? Now see here, if you take 17, what is the value difference that you get? Difference means you have to find the gap between 17 and 17.64. So whatever gap that you are getting, if it's lesser, then that value is the amount which is closer to 17, so that value can be taken. Now let's see. Now I am taking 17. Okay, that's the number that I want. No, so 17.64 is here. What's the value closer, okay, to 17? This, so this, for that we have to find what the gap. So in 17 and 17.64, if you want to find the gap, you have to subtract and see. So 17 and, okay, what should you do? You have to subtract and see. That is, now let's say that 17 and 17.64. Okay, if you subtract, how much will you get from 17.64 goes means how much is it? From 17.64 goes means how much? 64. Okay, 0.64. Okay, see here in the decimal place you have 64. Then what you all have to think is, okay, you all don't have to do like this. Okay, you all don't have to do like this, you all can do like this. Okay, where now here in the decimal place you have 64. No, so it's decimal, so from 0.100 minus 0.64, so how much will you get? Okay, that means if you are going to use any other numbers, you can use like that, but here can you use like that? No, what you have to take is take 17.0 and minus 17.64. Okay, then from 17, if you, okay, if you subtract 64, then how much will you get? 36. But 17 minus 17 is 0, so 0.36. So the gap that you get here is 0.36. Okay, then 16.81, what's the difference? For that to also subtract and see. Okay, from 17, how can you do that? 16.81. Okay, so if you take it from 17, 16.81, if you subtract, how much is the difference that you have? 19, right? Because if you subtract, it will become 0. So how much do you have? 19. So 0.19. So which value is the closest value that you have? Which value is the closest? 0.19 or 0.36? 0.19 is the closest, okay, because it is less. So this will be your closest value. So because of that reason, which one, okay, which square root will be the correct answer? That is 4.1. So 4.1 will be the square root of 17. So how can you come and write? Always remember you have to use, okay, always remember you have to use this symbol. You have to use this symbol when it comes to approximation method. Say 17 is approximate to, what's the value? 4.1. 4.1. Okay, now you all are like, first of all I told you all, right, that we are using the approximate to first decimal place value. Okay, that means first approximation method only we are using it here. So how is it happening? That is, remember that, okay, here after your decimal, here what's this place known as? This place is known as, remember that this place is known as first decimal place. This place is known as your first decimal place. So whenever you get an answer where after your decimal you have the first decimal place, okay, then this answer is, you're getting it according to the first approximation method. Whenever you have a number that is given, if you're going to find the square root, if you are getting the answer according to the first decimal place, then you consider this as a first approximation method, or approximate to the first decimal place. Did you understand? Okay, now let's do another question or example. Okay guys, now we are going to see the second example. Okay, what is it? That is, you can take 245. Okay, when you take the value 245, now you have to find, okay, now you have to find the square root. Okay, you are going to find the square root closer to this. So how can you find? You are going to take the values which are closer to 245. So what are those? You have 225, as well as you can take 256. Now if you take these two numbers, what's the square root of 225? That is 15. And what's the square root of 256? That is 16. Now we are going to get the difference between 245 and 225. So what's the difference that you have between them? Okay, now if you take here between 245 225, the difference that you will get here is 20, and the difference that you will get here is, okay, the difference that you will get here is 11. Okay, in between 245 and 256 we have to subtract and see. Now I got it. After that, you know that what should we do here? What is the closest value that you can get for 245? 20 or 11? That is 11. That means 256 is the one which is closest to 245. So then you are taking it. What can you take? Here you can have closer value towards 256. Okay, now before that, what should we do to find here? We have to always take the number which is in the left side, that is 15, and take the difference here 20. 20 plus 11 is 31. Now you have to divide and see this. Now divide 20 by 31, and do you have 31 inside 20? No. Then put 0 and put a decimal here and bring a 0 here. And in 200, how many 31 do you have? 6 times. So 31 into 6 is how much? Okay, so 31 into 6 is how much? You can get around 186. 186, if you minus 200, how much will you get? Around 14. Don't think about it. So here 0.6. Instead of this, we have to put 0.6. So 15.6 will be the a value that you will get here. So now using this, what can we do? Why are we getting this? We are getting this first so that we can get the multiplication faster. That's what we are doing this. If you get this value, first of all multiply by this value 15.6 by again 15.6. Now let's do it and see whether we are getting 245 or not. So 15.6, carefully you have to do this, okay, otherwise one miss means everything is gone. 6 multiplied by 6, it's 36. 6 multiplied by 5 is 30. 30 plus 3 is 33. After that, here 6 multiplied by 1 is 6. 6 plus 3 is how much? That is 9. And here 5 into 6 is how much? That is 30. 5 5s are 25. 25 plus 3 is 28. And then 5 into 1s are how much? 5 plus 2 is 7. And here 6 into 1s are how much? That is 6. 5 multiplied by 1 is 5. And 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. And here you have to put this here. Okay, so here if I get, okay, here I am putting 6, and then what can you do? 3 plus 0 is 3. 9 plus 8 is how much? That is 17. Okay, so 9 plus 18 is how much? 17. Okay, 17 plus 6 is how much? 17 plus 6 will give you 23. Okay, 23. So here 2. So 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 plus 2 is how much? 12 plus 2 is 14. Okay, so here how much? 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. And here how many decimal places it took? 2 times. So take it here 2 times. So 243.36. Okay, 243.36 will be your answer. Okay, then is it closer to 245 or not? We have to take other one also, 15.7 also. Let's multiply and see, because still we didn't get 245, right? So 15.7 also let's multiply and see it. Okay, now see here we have 15.7 multiplied by 15.7. 7 into 7 are how much? 49. And here, okay, 7 into 5 are how much? That is 35. 35 plus 4 is how much? 39. And 7 into 1 are 7. 7 plus 3 is how much? That is 10. After that, 5 into 7 are how much? 35. So 3 here. 5 5 are how much? 25. Plus 3 is how much? 28. And then 5 ones are 5 plus 2 is how much? That is 7. And here 7 into 1s are how much? 7. And then here 5 into 1s are 5. And 1 into 1 you will get 1 here. Okay, so you will get 1 here. So let's add it. So here you have 9. 9 plus 5 is how much? 14. And then 8 plus 7 is how much? That is 15. So 15 plus 1 is how much? 16. And then 5 plus 7 is how much? 12. 12 plus 1 is how much? 13. 13 plus 1 is 14. And then here 1 plus 1 is 2. So here 2 decimal places. So take it to this side. So it will become 246.49. Okay, 246.49. Now same. Okay, I got closer ones near 245. One is 243 and the other one is 246. Now same, if you take 245, which number is closer to 245? See here, you can subtract and take the answer as well. So from 246 you have to subtract 245. 246.49. So how much will you get as difference? From 45 have to subtract from 246.49. Okay, you have to subtract 245. Then how much will you get? 51. Okay, did you understand? 0.51, 0.51. But if you take 43.36, how much is the difference? If you subtract this from 245, that is, you will get around 64. Okay, and how much will you get? 64. Okay, now which one is the smallest one that you can take here then? That is 51. 51 is closer to 246.49, which is 15.7, which is 15.7. So the answer will become what? 15.7 is the value which is approximate, okay, to 245. 245 is approximate to 15.7. Did you understand it now? Yes, okay. Okay, now let's discuss all the questions that you all have under this topic. Okay, so if you all are practicing it, and then it will become used to it, and then you will become used to it if you all are practicing it. So let's do this. Okay, so first question under this you can do is that square root of 5. Okay, so what's the method that you all can use? Can you find it directly? No, you have to use that first approximation method. So okay, so now what are we going to do? We are going to see the two values which is closer to it. That is what? That is 4. That is closer to it. That is less than 5. And another value that will become 9. That is greater than 5. And what's the value you can take for the square root of 4? That is 2. And the square root of 9 will become 3. Now in between this you have to take. But before that, see the difference between 5 and 4. That will become how much? 5 minus 4 is 1. And what's the difference between 5 and 9? That will become 9 minus 5 will give you 4. So what is the closest value? 4 or 9? That is 1. That is 4. Why? Why 4 is closest? Because you are getting 1 which is the smallest value. So this 4 is becoming closer to 5. Okay, now if you are getting under this, you can get several values: 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 or 4.4. Until that you can get. Okay, so before that, to make it easy, we have to use one method. What is it? Take whatever, okay, take whatever number that you have in the left hand side and take here the difference, divide it by the total of the difference. 1 plus 4 will give you 5. Okay, now what are you going to do here? Now you have to divide this 1 over 5. Divide, okay, divide 1 by 5. How many 5 do you have inside? 1, 0. Then keep a decimal, bring a 0. In 10, how many 5 do you have? 2 times 5 2s are 10, 0. So what's the answer you're getting? A decimal. We are going to replace it. 2.2. Okay, now what are we going to do here? We are first of all, remember that we are going to use 2.2 and we are going to multiply it by 2.2. We are using, whenever they give you something like this, if you use this, it will become what? It will become easy for you. Okay, whenever you do this method and if you get this value, then you can easily multiply that first and see. Sometimes you will get this as your answer, otherwise not. Okay, 2.2 multiply by 2.2. Let's do it. Okay, 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, and then again 2 by 2, 4, 2 by 2, 4. Okay, now here 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, and here 4. Okay, so here 2 decimal point, no, so take it like this, so you will get how much? You will get 4.84 as your answer. Okay, 4.84. Now let's go through what? Okay, 4.84. Now let's go through 2.1 and see. Okay, 2.1. Whenever you are going to do the 2.1, if you take also, let's see what will we get. So if you take 2.1 by 2.1, 1 multiplied by 1 is 1, 1 by 2 is 2, 2 by 1 is 2, 2 by 2 is 4, and 1 here, and then 2 plus 2 is 4, and here 4 again. Okay, 2 decimal places, so bring it like this, 4.41. So we get 4.41. But what do you think if you get 2.3? Let's do 2.3. You all do it if systematically if you all want. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's do it and see. As far as I know, this can become the answer 2.2. So let's take 2.3 and multiply and see. 3 by 3 is 9. 3 by 2 is 6. 2 into 3 is 6. 2 into 2 is 4. And 9 here. 6 plus 6 is how much? 12. 4 plus 1 is 5. Now 2 decimal places, now bring it here. So 5.29. I want the amount 5. Okay, I want the amount 5. Okay, now let's see what is the closest value that you have. Okay, now if you take the closest value that you have, you can take here. You have 4.84 and 4.41. Also, you have 5.29. Okay, among these, you can see the value which is closest. Okay, now if you take this 2.2, okay, I'll take closer to 5. What's the value that you will get? Always remember, now 4 and 5 is closer, no? After 4 only 5, it will become 5. So here you have decimal place, no? So from 100, 0.100 minus 84. Then how much will you get? How much will you get? 16. Then how much is the difference that you will get? If you subtract from 100, if you subtract 84, you will get 16. Then how much is the difference? 0.16 is the difference here. Okay, I'm getting a difference of 16 here. But if you take here from 5, what's the difference that you have? 5 minus 5, 5.29 minus 5, that is 29. Okay, 29. But you can't take 41 now because, okay, so 59 or something. You will get 59. Okay, you will get around, from 5, if you subtract 4.41, 59. So you can't take this is largest. I want to take the very closest value. What's the very closest value that you have? 16 or 29? 16. So what's that value? 2.2. So what's the square root that is approximate to 5? That is 2.2. Always write this symbol. That is 2.2. See here. We did here and we got 2.2. Here also we got 2.2. Did you understand? Sometimes it happens. Okay. Now let's go towards the other question. Okay, now let's go toward our second question. Okay, so in the second question, okay, they have given you, 20. Okay, they have given you 20. Now let's see what are the two values which are approximate. Okay, so you can take here, that is, one will become 16, and then another one, what can you take? 25. You can take 25. Now say me, what is the square root of 16? That is 4. And what's the square root of 25? That is 5. And now however the value will be between them. So in difference, we have to see the difference. 16. Okay, so 20 minus 16 will give you 4. 20 minus 25 will give you how much? 5. So what is the closest value? That is difference. What's the closest one you can take? Here 4 is the smallest value, so 16 will be your closest value. 4 is the smallest value, no? So because of that reason, the 16 will be your closest value. Okay. Now what can we do? We can use our method here. What is it? We can take 4 here and we can take the difference also 4 and divide by 4 plus 5. Add the difference, that is 9. Now 4 divided by 9. Okay. Now 4 you have to divide it by 9 and see. In 4 how many 9 do you have? Nothing. 0. Then in 40 how many 9 do you have? You have 4 times 9 4s are 36. Okay. 40 minus 36 will give you 4. Okay. So how much are you getting here? The amount that you are getting here will become, how much is it? That is 0.4. I got 0.4 here. So what will I get here? That is a 4.4. Okay, here 4 means a 4.4. Now I got 4.4. Now shall we do 4.4 and see whether we are getting or not? Okay. But here this is the closest. Okay, this is the closest. Okay. So near 4.4. Okay, let's see that. Multiply by 4.4. 4.4 again by 4.4. 4 fours are how much? 16. 4 fours are 16 plus 1, 17. 4 fours are 16. 4 fours are 16 plus 1 is 17. 6. 7 plus 6 is 13. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. And 1 here. So here 2 decimal places. Take it to this side. 19.36. Now shall we go to the other one? Bottom, if it goes, I think it will increase. 4.5. Let's try it. 4.5 into 4.5. Okay, now if you take 4.5 multiply by 4.5, 5 5s are how much? That is, I know you have to take it to this side, okay, like 4.4, 4.3, like that you have to keep on multiplying. But what I'm going to do here is, if you take here, you are getting 19 means, okay, here if you are getting 19 means, if I go 4.3 I will get around like less than that only, 18, like that only I will get. Okay, if I go like 4.5, 4.6, I will get like 20 and all. Did you understand? So that's what I am doing it like that. I will get like 20. Okay, let's try. 5 by 5 is 25. 5 fours are 20. 20 plus 2 is 22. Again, 4 by 5 is 20. 4 fours are 16 plus 2 is how much? 18. Here 5, 2, 8 plus 2 is 10. 2, 1 plus 1 is 2. And here 2 decimal places, so take it to here. So how much are you getting? I told now 20.25. So I'm getting 20.25. So which one is the closest? No need to go further. 20, no, here I have to take, here I have got 19 also, 20.25 also. Now same in 20, what's the closest value? Here 19.36. 20 minus 19.36, what will you get? Here I can minus 100 minus 36. How much will you get in decimal place? 0.100 minus 36, 64. So here I am getting 64. That's the difference. Here, how much is the difference to 20? 20.25 minus 20 will give you 0.25. So 64, is it closer, or 25 is it closer? 25 is the amount which is closer. So because of that reason, what can you say? 24 is the amount which is closer. So the number square root is 4.5. So 20 is approximate to 4.5. Did you understand? Always see the smallest value. If it is closer to that, take that value. Did you understand? Okay, now let's go towards our third question. Whenever I'm writing the question here, you all go and try it alone. Don't go and check anywhere else. Try it alone after studying. Okay, so that it will be helpful for you all. Okay, now third one that I'm going to do here is 67. Okay, 67 if I'm taking here. Okay. Okay, so when I'm taking 67, let's see what's the closest value here. So 67, what's the closest value? You have 64, which is lesser. Okay, and after that, what do you have? 81, which is closer. Now, say me what's the square root of 64? That is 8, and the square root of 81 is how much? 9. So, however, it should be in between these only. So, what can you do here? See the difference. 67 minus 64 is how much? 3. 81 minus 67, what's the difference that you have? 81, if you 67 minus 81, what's the difference that you have? You have around 14. Okay, Now I am writing here 14. You all do it. And here what should I do? I have to do that method and see what's the answer that I'm getting here. So I'll take this 8 here and take the 3 here. 3 plus 14 is how much? That is 17. Now I'm going to divide this. Can you divide by any number? No. So I'm going to divide here. Okay. So 3 is divided by 17. Do you have 17 inside 3? No. Then put 0 point here. 0. Okay. Now when you are dividing it like that, okay, when you are dividing it like that, say me, how many 17 do you have inside it? Ones, right? Okay, 17 into ones are how much? That is 17. You only have it one time, other than that you don't have it. Okay, so if I take here, you're getting 13. Okay, you're getting 13. And then what do I need? It's okay if you have a remainder. 0.1 is the one that I need. So I'm replacing this with 0.1. Then I will get how much? 8.1. Okay, now I'm getting 8.1. Now which one will I multiply here and see? First of all 8.1. But what's the closest value that you have? 64, 81, 64. So here whatever values you will take it. Like 8.1 and you will take 8.2, 8.3 like that only. Now here I have got 8.1 now, so I'm going to multiply this and see it. Okay, whenever they have given it, try to do it. Okay, now here 8.1 into 8.1, 1 ones are 1, 1 into 8 are 8, 8 into 1s are 8, 8 into 8 are 64. So here 1, 8 plus 8 is 16 and 4 plus 1 is 5 and 6, 2 decimal places. Now take it here. So how much will I get? 65.61. Okay, I'm getting like that. But I need 67. So see the closest one. I'll take 8.2 because here no closest value 64 no. I'll take 8.2. Okay, so when I'm taking 8.2 multiply by 8.2, let's see what are we getting. Okay, now 2 multiplied by 2 is how much? 4. 2 multiplied by 8 is 16. 8 multiplied by 2 is 16. 18 to 8s are how much? 64 plus 1, 65. 4 here. 6 plus 6 is how much? 12. And then here 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7, and here 6, 2 places if you take 67.24. Okay, see 67 and 67 we got it. Okay, so we got 67.24. So because of that reason, now what can we do? We can see the difference between that, but you don't have to see here. If you keep on again multiply by 8.3, you will get more amount only. That means it will become bigger. So what's the closest value you can take? 67 or 65? 67 only by it. Only 24 is the difference. So the answer will become 8.2. 67 is approximate to 8.2. Did you all understand? Here, however, it's a high gap only. Okay. You all understand? Now let's do the other question. What is your other question that you can take here? Yeah, you can take 115. Okay, you are going to take 115. If you take 115 now, say me, what are the two values which are closer to 115 that you can take here? One is, think 100. And the other one you can take here is 121. Okay, now if you take like this, what's the square root of 100? That is 10. Square root of 121, 11. After that, see the difference between 115. That is 15. Difference between 115 and 21. That is 6. Okay, so what's the closest value? That is 121. Then now what are we going to do? We are going to take from here only. Okay, 10.5, 10.6. Okay, something like that only we will get. Because here you can take 10 point, here closer means 10.5, 10.6, 10.7 like that. Now here we are going to divide and say it. How are we going to do that? Take this 10 here and take this 15 here and take the addition of difference. 15 plus 6 is how much? That is 21. Now divide this. Okay, divide this 15 by 21. Do you have 21 inside 15? No, you don't have it. So because of that reason, 0 and keep a decimal. Bring 0 here. Okay, so when you bring your 0 here, how much are you getting? Say me, how many 21 do you have inside your 150? Yeah, it's correct. How much do you have inside it? Can you do it? No, it's wrong. Why? That's what I wanted to say, all. See here, can you simplify this or not? You all have to first of all see whether you can simplify this. After that, you can divide it. Here, by which number can you simplify? By 3. Then here, 3 divided by 5 is 15. 3 divided by how much? 7 is 21. So now 5 over 7 only you have to divide. See, you all did it wrong, right? So 5 over 7 only you all have to divide. Now divide 5 by 7. How many 7 do you have inside 5? 0. Bring this 0. Okay, so in got 5 over 7. So when I'm dividing this 5 by 7, do you have 7 inside 5? No. Then you will bring 0 here. So in 50, how many 7 do you have? 7 times. 7 sevens are 49. So 50 minus 49 is how much? That is 1 here. Did you all understand? So what's the answer that you all are getting here? That is 0.7. Okay, then here instead of this, what can you say? 10.7. Okay, we can say 10.7. Now what can we do here? We can actually multiply and see 10.7 by 10.7. That's why we are doing this. Okay, now if you take this 10.7 multiply by 10.7, 7 into 7 are 49. 7 into 0 is 0, but here 4 is there, so put the 4. And after that, here what can you say? Here 7 multiplied by 1 is 7. Okay, after that, here 0 multiplied by 7 is 0. And then after that, here 0 by 0 is 0. Again 0 by 1 is 0. Again 7 multiplied by 1 is how much? That is 7. And 1 multiplied by 0 is 0. 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. Okay, now after that, here put 9 and here 4. 7 plus 7 is 14. 1 and here again 1. So 2 times if you take, you're getting 114. Okay, you're getting how much? 114.49. Okay, then it is closer to 115. See, 114 and 115. But okay, but still you can try to do 10.8 and see for your own reassurance, to make it sure you can do it. Okay, however we are going to take this number only closer. Okay, so however it will go 10.8, 10.9 only. Let's keep on doing it. 10.8, if you multiply 8 by 8 is how much? That is 64. 8 into 0s are 0. And here you have 6, put the 6. 8 into 1s are how much? That is 8. 0 into 8s are 0. Again 0. 0 into 1s are 0. 8 into 1s are 8. 1 into 0s are 0. 1 into 1s are 1. And let's add it. 6. 8 plus 8 is 16. 1. So 1 and 1. Now here 2 decimals you have. So take it 2 times. 116.64 will be your answer. So can you say me which one is closer to 115, 114 or 116? So you can take that. Which one is closer? That is 114. No, see here, because from 115, which one is closer? You can subtract and see here. Okay, so 49, if you subtract from 100, how much are you getting? 51. Okay, you're getting 51. So 51 here. Here 116 from 64, how much are you getting? From 100, if you subtract this decimal place first, 64, then how much are you getting? Okay, from this, how much are you getting here? 36. So here 36. Then in here 116 from 115. Okay, then how much are you getting here? 36. So what can you take? Here you are getting 1.36. Okay, is 1.36 smaller or 0.51 smaller? 0.51 only smaller. So which one is closer to this? Closer to this is 10.7. So what is the answer? 115 is approximate to 10.7. Did you all understand it? See, even when I did, I got the answer 10.7 only. See, sometimes it happens. I told you, no. I hope you understood. Now let's go to the other question. Now the last question that we have here is 1070. Okay, now say me what are the two numbers which are closer to 1070? Okay, 1070, what are the two numbers which are closer to it? You can take like 30, yeah, 32 or something like that. Okay, yeah, 32 multiplied by 32 is how much? You get around 1024. Yeah, multiply and see, you get 1024. And greater than that, you have this like 1089. Yeah, 1089. 1089 you get it when you multiply 33 by 33. But this one 32 by 32 you will get it. Okay. Now say me what's the square root of 1024? 32, and square root of 1089 is 33. Now what can you do here? What's the difference between 1070 and 1024? What's the difference that you have here? Okay, what's the difference that you have here? 46. And what's the difference that you have here? That is 19. Okay, so here the difference that you have is 46, and there the difference that you have here is 19. Now what can we do here? Let's do the method, this one. So which is closer to 1070? That is 1089. Okay, 1089. Now from here on it should go. Okay, from here on it should go like 32.5, 32.6, so 32.7. From here on it should go. These are the values you will get. Now let's do our method 32, and let's take our 32 and let's take this number 46, divide by the addition of both of them. 46 plus 19 will give you how much? 46 plus 19 will give you how much? Yeah, it will give you around 65. Okay, so it will give you around 65. Now, what are you going to do? Can you simplify this further, or can't you simplify this? You cannot simplify this. So, what are you going to do? You are going to divide this 46 by 64. So, do you have 65 inside 46? No, 0. So, put it like this, bring a 0. In 460, how many 65 do you have? Like, yeah, you can take around 7. So, 65 multiplied by 7 is how much? Yeah, we get around 455. 455. Then what's the remaining amount that you have? 5. So here instead of 32, you can put 0.7. Okay. Then 32.7 will be your amount that you're getting. 32.7. Now shall we do and see 32.7 multiply by 32.7? How much is it? Yes, we can do and see it. Okay. Now 32.7 into 32.7. 7 into 7s are 49. 7 2s are 14. Plus 4 will give you 18. 7 3s are how much? 21. Plus 1 is 22. 7 2s are 14. 2 2s are 4, plus 1 is 5, and 2 3 2s are 6. Okay, and 3, okay, 3 7s are how much? 21. And again you can take 3 2s are 6, plus 2 is how much? 8. And here 3 plus 3 is 9. So here 9, 8 plus 4 is 12, 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 1 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9, 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 8 is how much? 16. 9 plus 1 is 10. Now, two decimal places, if you take, how much are you getting here? 1069.29. Okay. So, we are getting around 1069.29. Okay. So, it's closer to 1069 is closer to 1070. We already know, but let's do the other number. Closer to 32.7. What's the other one? 32.8 into 32.8. Okay, so this is what you are getting. So 32.8 into 32.8, if you multiply, 8 8s are 64, 8 2s are 16. 16 plus 6 is how much? 16 plus 6 is how much? That is 22. So 2 here and here. And after that here 8 twos are how much? 8 threes are how much? 8 threes are 24 plus 2 is 26. 8 twos are 16. 2 twos are 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 twos are 6. 3 eights are how much? That is 24. 3 twos are how much? That is 6 plus 2 is 8. 3 threes are 9. Now let's add 4. 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 plus 5 is 11. Plus 4 is how much? 15. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. 6 is plus 1 is 17. 9 plus 1 is 10. Two decimal places, take it to this side. 1075.84. Okay, we are getting 1075.84. 75 is it closer or 69 is it closer? You all can nicely see 69 only closer. Okay, how much is it closer? 71, 0.71 closer. If you want, you can subtract 1070 by this 1069.20. Then you will get 71. So what's the answer then? 71 is closer means 32.7 is your answer. Square root of 1070 is approximate to 32.7. Now did you get the answer? He also we got 32.7 only. I told you no. Most of the cases it will happen. Only some cases it won't happen. See, I finally found it. Now did you all understand how to find the square root of these numbers by using the first approximation method? Yes. Okay. So now we are going to study how to find the square root of any number by using the division method. Okay. Now let's see. Okay, so before doing that, always remember that you all have to know about certain rules. Okay, certain rules before doing this division method square root. Okay, so what are those means? You all know, right? You all have studied about squares like 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, like that. You all have studied about several squares. Okay, so from these squares, now let's find how to find any number. Okay, how to find any number where in the end or in the last digit you will get 1. Okay, how to find the number. Okay, how to find the number where you will get the last digit as 1 and the last digit as 4 and the last digit as 9 and the last digit as 60, 16 and 25. Like that we are going to find how are we going to get these numbers as our last digit. Okay, because we need all of these for this division method. Okay, now let's see here. First of all, I'm going to take 1. Okay, first of all, I'm going to take 1 here. So where can you all get, what are the two numbers if you multiply, will you all get 1 as your last digit, or the 1 in your ones place? Where will you get the 1 in the ones place? What are those two numbers that you have to multiply so that you will get 1 as your last digit, or in the ones place? Say me, what are those two numbers? That is 1 multiply by 1. And another way where you will get 1 in the ones place. What are those two numbers that you have to multiply? Say me, what are those two numbers? Can you all remember that we had one square number which we call as 81. So whenever you had 81, what can you say? See, you're getting 1 in your ones place. So what are the two numbers if you multiply, you will get 81? That is 9 multiplied by 9 will give you 81. 9 multiplied by 9 will give you 81 in your ones place or in your last digit. Now did you understand? What are the two numbers which you will get 1 as your last digit. What are the two numbers if you multiply will you get? One is 1 and another number is 9. If you take these two numbers only, you will get 1 in your last digit or in your ones place. Remember that because we need this. And now let's go towards the other one, that is 2. No, not 2. You can take 4. Okay, now let's take 4. Okay, 4 is your square number. No, so say me, what are the two numbers if you multiply, you will get 1 in your ones place. Okay, say me, what are those two numbers? You already know that is 2 multiplied by 2. And another two number where you will get 4 in your last digit or in your ones place. What is it? That is, can you all remember that you all have 64? 64, how do you get that square number? By what are the two numbers that you multiply? That is 8 into 8 will give you 64. So that's how you got 4 as your last digit. Did you all understand? So what are the two numbers that you have to use to get 4 as your last digit or in your ones place? That is, one is 2 and the other one is 8. Okay, remember this. Now let's go to, okay, now let's go to 9. Okay, so say me, what are the two numbers you have to multiply to get 9 in your ones place? That is, you all already know one number. What is it? That is 3 multiplied by 3. Okay, now say me another two numbers that you have to multiply so that you get 9 in your ones place. So where can you remember that? You all know about squares, right? So say me, that is 49. Yeah, so if you take 49 in the ones place, what do you have? In the ones place you have 9 there. So that what are the two numbers you have to multiply to get 49? That is 7 multiplied by 7 will give you 49. So now remember, to get 9 in your ones place or in the last digit, 3 is used and the value 7 is used. These are the two numbers, don't forget it. Okay, also, now let's go to 16. 16, what's the last digit that you have? 6. Okay, 6 is the last digit or the digit in your ones place is 6. Now let's see what are the numbers which will give you 6. What are the numbers which will give you 6 in your ones place? Okay, now say me such number. What can you say? That is 16. When you take 16, you have 6 in your ones place. So what are the two numbers that you can multiply to get 16? That is 4. 4 multiplied by 4 will give you 16. So you get 6 in your ones place. Another two such numbers that you can multiply so that you get 6 in your last digit. 6. See, then itself you can understand what is it. That is 36. If you take 36 in the ones place, what's the digit that you have? That is 6. So what are the two numbers that you have to multiply to get 36? That is 6 multiplied by 6. It will give you how much? That is 36. Now what are the two numbers that you need to get 6 in your ones place? That is 4 and 6. Okay. Now the last one. Okay, now let's go towards 5. Okay, what's that number? Okay, okay, what are those two numbers that you have to multiply to get 5 in your ones place? There is only one such square that you have, so that you will get 5 in your ones place. What is it? That is 25. Exactly. So if you take 25, you will get 5 in your ones place. So that what can you say? So what are those two numbers that you can multiply so you can get 25? That is 5 multiplied by 5 will give you 25 and you get 5 in your ones place. So only one number is used to get 5 in your ones place, that is number 5 itself. That is number 5 itself. Always remember these rules, okay, so that you can find the square root by using the division method. Now let's see how are we going to use that rules. Okay, so for an example, now I am going to take a number which is 1765. I'm going to take this number and they are asking you to find the what? They are asking you to find the square root of 1764. Okay, by using the division method. Then how can you do that? Always remember, whenever they give you a number and they ask you to find the square root by using the division method, always first of all you have to separate all the digits in these numbers into pairs. You have to separate all the digits in this number into pairs. What are pairs? When you have something in 2, when you have something in 2, you call it as pairs. Now we have to separate these digits into pairs, but from where? From the ones place. Okay, from the ones place towards your left you have to pair it. That means from right to left you have to pair it. Now this number 1764, how can you pair it? How can you pair it? Like, what are the numbers you can pair from right to left? That is, you can pair this 64 as one pair and 17 as another pair from right to left, from one's place to left. So what is it? One is 64, you can pair it up, and then 17 you can pair it up. Okay, once you pair it, how will you write it? Always remember in division method, write like this. Okay, 17, 64. But when you pair it up, keep a space in between. Keep a space in between. See, I have kept a space in between, and then I am going to divide it like this. I am going to divide it like this. Okay, now let's divide it. Say me how to divide this. That is, now you know here the first pair is 17. 17, can you say me that can we find any square root for this? The last digit here is 7. Okay, so the last digit here is 7. So when you have last digit 7, do you have any numbers which you multiply, you will get 7 in the last digit? Do you know some such sort of things? No, you don't know. You only studied about 1, 4, 9 and 6 and 5. Okay, so 17, 7 do you know in the ones place? What are the numbers you have to multiply to get 7? No, you don't know. Then what will you do? Now you are going to see the perfect square which is closer to this number 17. You all know about squares, right? Like 1, 4, 9, 16. These are your perfect squares. Now say me, okay, now say me what is that one number which is closer to 17? What is that number which is closer to 17? That is 16. Okay, that is 16. Now what you have to do here is, now say me the square root of 16. What's the square root of 16 then? The square root of 16 is 4. And then you have to come and write that 4 here on top of it and also here. Did you understand? When you don't have any last digit where you can find by multiplying it, then you have to see the closest square for towards it. And once you find the closest square, what you have to do is see the square root of that number and come and write it on top of it and also in the left side of this division. Did you understand? Okay. Now say me 4, if you multiply by 4, how much is it? That is 16. 17 minus 16 is how much? 17 minus 16 will give you, okay, it will give you 1. Okay, it will give you 1. After that, okay, after that, you will come and, okay, after you get 1, what you have to do here is, remember that here, okay, here in this place you have to get a digit. How can you get it? You have to take this 4 which is on the top and you have to multiply this 4 by 2. Whatever number you get here in top, multiply it by 2. So 4 multiplied by 2 is how much? That is 8. So you will come and write that 8 here. Okay, you will come and write that 8 here. 4 multiplied by 2 will give you how much? 8. Okay, so after that, keep a space here. Okay, like this, put a square. And here also you have to keep a space. After that, what can you do here? Bring this 64 down. Okay, bring this 64 down. Now say me, what are the two numbers that you multiply so that your last digit will become 4? Your last digit will become 4. Say me those two numbers that you have. That is 2 multiplied by 2. So you can take 2. Another one, that is 8 multiplied by 8. So that you will get 4. So 2 and 8 you can take. So what is that suitable number you can take here? So that if you take it together with 8, that means if I take 2 here, if you take 82 and again if I write 2 here, 82 and 2 if you multiply, will you get 164? What is that number that you can select? 2 or 8? Say me what is that number that you can select. So if you take it together with 8, you will get 164 as your answer. 206, sorry, 208. That is 2. 2 is suitable. Now see here. If I put 2 here, again you have to put 2 here. Now say me, okay, 82 if you 82 if you multiply by 2, it will give you how much? 4 into 4 is, sorry, 2 into 2 is 4. 8 into 2 is 16. So how much are you getting? 164. Yes, it's correct. So come and put 1 here, 64 here, drag this, and after that, 164 minus 164 is how much? That is 0. Okay, now you got the perfect, okay, you got the square root. Okay, you got the square root of 1764 exactly here. How much is it? That is 42. Here you divided it properly. Okay, that's why you got a remainder of 0. So here you can write equal. Okay, so here remember that when they ask you to write the square root of this number by using division method, I got 0 in the remainder, so I divided this equally, properly. So I can write equal sign here. And what's the answer? What's the square root of this number? That is 42. So the answer here is how much? 42. Now did you all understand how to find an answer for a square root using division method? Okay, now we did one example for the positive number. Okay, for a positive number. Now let's go and see how to find the square root for a decimal number. Okay, for a decimal number. Let's see that. Okay, now see here, before writing an example or before taking an example for it, now let's take some certain numbers, okay? So let's take certain numbers like this. For an example, I'm taking here 2.37. And also I'm taking here like 32.166. And then I'm taking here like 321 point like, yeah, 351. Okay, so whenever I'm taking a number like this which is in decimal, always remember, okay, always remember that. Now how can you separate this number into pairs? Okay, how can you separate this number into pairs? That is, how you can separate means you have a decimal point here, no, then from this side you can separate, and from right side and towards left side also you can separate it in the pairs. How can you do that? That is, here towards your right side you already have two numbers, so write 37 here, write 37 here. And also what you can do here is, and towards your left also you have to separate, but you only have one number, so how will you write? You will write 2 point. Okay, you will write only 2 point. So you will write 2 point, and after that you will be what? You will be writing 2 point and keep a space and 37, like that only you will divide it. And when it comes to 32.166, how can you do that? Towards your right, okay, towards your right, here two digits, so here I will get 16. And after that, here one digit is there, so you have to take it to this side and add one zero. Add one zero here. So keep a space and write 6 and add one zero. Okay, add one zero. And after that, here to this side already you have two pairs. So write it like 32 point. And after that, divide it like this. Did you understand? Write 32 point, keep a space, 16, another space, and write 6. After that, you don't have any digit, but you should have it in pairs, no? So write a 0 here. And when it comes this number, how will you write it? Here towards right, you have two digits, so 35 here. Okay, when you are dividing 35 here, and here towards here you only have one digit, so what will you do? Put a 0 here, keep a space and put 1 and put a 0 here. Okay, put 1 and a 0 here. And towards this, what will you do? Here also you have to separate it. So how will you separate? Here two digits you have to take in. Okay, so how will you write it? 21. Okay, you will write 21 point space 35 space 10. And this 3 is also there. No? Take it to this side. Just write only 1 3 and keep space 21 dot space 35 space 10. Like that only you have to divide it. Did you all understand how to do that? Okay, now let's take one example using a decimal number. Okay, so if I take an example of, okay, if I take 3.61. Now I have to find the square root of this number. How can I do it? That is, first of all, separate. That is 3 point space 61 and divide it. Okay, once I'm dividing it. Now say me, do you have any digit with last number as 3? No, you don't have with no any two numbers to multiply and get 3 as your last digit. So what's the closest perfect square that you have? That is closer to 3, you have only 1. Okay, only 1. How can you get 1? 1 multiplied by 1. It will give you how much? 1. And after that, 3 minus 1 is how much? That is 2. And after that, now you have to multiply this number which is 1 on top by 2. Always do that. By 2, you have to multiply whatever number you have in the top here, multiply by 2. So 1 multiplied by 2 is how much? 2. And keep a, okay, you will write it here and keep a square here, a space for another number. Okay, space for another number. And here also you have to keep a space. After that, bring this 61 down, and after that, say me what are the digits that you can multiply, so that at the end you will get 1 here. At the end you will get 1 here. What are the two digits that you can use? Okay, semi. That is, you can use 1 multiplied by 1 will give you 1. Yes. And what are the other two digits that you can multiply so that you will get 1 in the end? That is 81. What are the two numbers you have to multiply? 9 by 9. So can I use 1 here? 21, 1. 21 multiplied by 1 will give me how much? 21. So I can't take. But 9 can I use? 1 no 9. 1 I can't use. So 9 I can use. Yeah, it will give. So I'm going to use 9 here, another 9 here. Let's see, 29 multiplied by 9 is how much? 9 into 9 is 81. 9 into 2 is 18. 18 plus 8 is how much? 26. So yeah, perfectly we are getting it. So come and write here, 261. And after that, you have to subtract it here. 261 minus 261 is 0, right? Yes. So what's the answer that we got here? That is 19. Okay. And also it's perfectly dividing it. So I can write equal. 3.61 square root. It is equal to how much? That is 1 and 9, 19. Not 19. Point is here, no? So write the point here. So 1.9. So 1.9 is your square root of 3.61. Okay, 3.61. The answer, the square root is 1.9. Okay, okay. Now let's go towards, okay. Okay, now let's go towards another number. For an example, that is 2737. Now they are asking you, okay, they are asking you to find, the square root of this number accurate, okay, accurate to two decimal places. Accurate to two decimal places. Guys, always remember that whenever they ask you to find the square root of any number, accurate to two decimal places means you should always take this number towards three decimal places. If you take this number to three decimal places, then what can you do? You can round this three decimal places to two decimal places. You can round it off to two decimal places. So whenever they say find the square root of a number accurate to two decimal places, always remember to take what? Take the three decimal places so that you can round it off to two decimal places. Okay, you can do it like that. But here, do you have any decimal places? No. Then how can you, take it to three decimal places? Always remember that at the end of a number, always you have a decimal. At the end of a number, a positive number, you always have a decimal. So you have to bring it back. Okay. And from here, you have to take three decimal place. To take three decimal place, what you have to do is bring three pairs of zeros. Three pairs of zeros. That means one pair, space, another pair, space, another pair. Like that, you have to bring three pairs of zeros after your decimal place. Then you are getting three decimal places. Can you see that we are covering three decimal places? Yeah, by bringing what? By bringing three pairs of zeros after your decimal. This is how you have to do. Now here, how can you do that? Here, what you have to do here is now put this, and here you know how many pairs? Two pairs already there. So 27 space 37 space 2. Okay, decimal, another 2, another 2. Okay, now after this semi, okay, do you have any number digit ending with 7? No. Known any two numbers to multiply to get a digit ending with 7. So what I'm going to do? See the closest square. So what's the closest square closer to this 27 towards this pair? That is 25. You can take 25 is a pair. Okay, is a perfect square closer to 27. Then what can you do? Have to take it here. So how can you get 25? 5 multiplied by 5. So come and put here 5 and another 5 here. Okay, another 5 here. 5 into 5 will give you 25. Drag this, and after that 27 minus 25 will give you 2. And here what should you do? As usual, multiply this 5 by 2. Yeah. Then 5 multiplied by 2 will give you how much? That is 10. Okay, after that keep a space here. Once you get the space here, what can you do? Yeah, once you get a space here, you should bring this 37 below. And now say me, can you get any number that you will get 7 by multiplying two numbers at the ones place? No, you can't. Then now what you all have to do here is always now think, what number can I put here near 10 so that I multiply it two times, I get anything closer to 200. Can you say me any number like that? Can you take 1 here? No, you can't take 1 here. Why can't you take 1 here? No, 101 again multiply by 1. How much will you get? 101 itself. But if you take 2, now here take 2. Then how much will you get? 2 into 1s are 2, 2 into 0s are 0, 2 into 1s are 2. Yes, 200. But if I take 3, I will get 300 something. Can I use 300 something? No, it should be 200 less than 200. So less than 237. I can't take 300. So I can take what? 2. So 2 will give you how much? 2 into 1s are 2. 2 into 0s are zeros. 2 into 1s are 2. So how much am I getting? 100. 102 no. You can't take 1 here. 101 you can't take. 102 can you take? Yes. Then only 200 or something you will get. So okay, let's multiply and see. So 102 multiplied by 2. Here also 2, here also 2. 2 into 2s are 4. 2 into zeros are 0. 2 into ones are 2. Right? So here how much will you get? 204. Okay. You will get 204. After that, so here write 2, here write 2. And if you subtract, okay, from 37, 4 goes means how much will you get? 33. Okay, you will get, yeah, you will get 33. Okay. Now what will you do? Now you have to remember another thing. Now here you have to know about another thing. Okay. That is, remember that whenever, okay, whenever you have, 5 means you multiplied it by 2 in the top. Again, here you have 2, no? Then you have to take 52. 52 multiplied by 2 and bring it to the bottom here. To the bottom here. Okay, so 52 multiplied by 2 will give you how much? 2 2s are 4, 5 2s are 10, 104. So I will bring how much here? That is 104. And after that, here I will keep a space and bring two zeros below. Okay, and again keep a square here. So here 0. Okay, 3300. What are the numbers that you can multiply to get something related to 3300? Here, this is 104. To make it 1000, I can take 1. Then I will get 1000. 2 means it will become 2000. To get 3300, I can take 3. Okay, so 1403. He also write 3. Multiply by 3, how much will you get? 3 3s are 9, 4 3s are 12. 3 into 0 are 0, and here 1. So 1, 3 into 1s are 3. So 3129. Okay, you're getting something like this. Okay, now you have to subtract this. How? Yeah, we are getting 3000. Okay, that's how you all have to think. Now here we have to subtract this. How can you subtract? From 0 you can't. So we are borrowing here. So here 3. So it will become 2. This will become 10. And if you give here, it will become 10. This will become 9. From 10, 9 goes means 1. 9, 2 goes means 7. 2, 1 goes means 1, 0. So how much are you getting? 171. And here again, what should you all do? You all have to see the top numbers. 5, 2 and 3 new number. Take 523 and multiply this by 2 again. 523 multiplied by 2 is how much? 3 2s are 6, 2 2s are 4, 5 2s are 10. 1046. Come and write 1046 here and put a square, another square. Bring two zeros below. Okay. Bring two zeros below. Now say me 17,100. So what is that number that I can multiply to get this 17,100? This is like 1000, or I can take what? 1. Because if I take 2 means it will go more than that. I'll take 1. Here also 1. 1046 into 1 will give you how much? So 10,461 into 1 will give you how much? That is 10,461. Okay, now what are we going to do? Subtract this. If you subtract this from 0, you can't subtract 1. So take here from 1, it will become 0. Borrow it. 10. If you give here, it will become 10. This will become 9. 10 minus 1, 1. 9 minus 6, 3. 0 minus 3 you can't do. So borrow here, it will become 6. This will become 10. 10 minus 4 will give you 6. 6 minus 0 will however be 6 only. So how much did you got? 6,630. 1. Okay, so how much did you got? Sorry, 10 minus 1 will give you 9. Okay, 9. Okay, so how much will you get? 6,639. Okay, now what will you do? Again, take this 5, 2, 3, 1. Multiply all of these by 2. Okay, all of these by 2. So that what will get? 5,231 multiplied by what? 2. 2 into 2s are 1, 2 into 1s are 2, 3 2s are 6, 2 2s are 4, 5 2s are 10. How much are you all getting? 10,462. So here what will you all come and write? 10, wait. Now can you all see? Okay, so how much did I got? 10,462. So I'm coming and writing 10,462 here. After that, here keep a square and here also keep a square. Okay. After that, what will you do here? Now, say me, what are those two numbers you can multiply to get something, like bring these zeros here. Okay. Bring these zeros here. What are those numbers that you have to multiply to get, like 66? You can only have 6. Yeah. So take it here, 6 and 6. Now multiply 10,462. Oh, sorry. Here, multiply this by 6. 6 into 6 are 36. 6 twos are how much? 6 twos are how much? It will give you 12. So 12 plus 3 will give you 15. 6 6 are 36 plus 1 is 37. 4 6 are 24 plus 3 is 27. 6 into 0 0. 2 here. 6 into 1 is 6. So how much are you getting? 6 2 7 7 5 6. Okay. Now what will you all do? You all will subtract this. So if you subtract, give here borrow, so 10, it will become 9. If you give here 10, 10 minus 6 will give you how much? That is 4. 9 minus 5, 4. It was 9, it became 8. 8 minus 7 is 1. 3 minus 7 you can't do, so give here, it will become 5. It become 13. 7 goes means how much? 6. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So how much did you get? 36,142. Okay. You got 36,144. Now you got covered everything. Okay, so what's the answer that you got? 52316. Come and write here. Okay, 5. Okay, 2. But here decimal point, no, bring the decimal point here. 52.316. Okay, I'm erasing this. Fine. So how much did we got? We got here as 52.316 as our square root. But I told I want to take it, round it off to what? Round it off to 2 decimal places. But how much am I having? 3 decimal places covered. So what can you do? So see here, in your second decimal place, what you can see here is, in the third decimal place, you have to always see the third decimal place here is what? Greater than 5. So when it is greater than 5, then what can you do? Whenever it is greater than 5, always remember that you have to take your second decimal place by adding another one. That means 31 will become 32. Did you understand? So what's the answer? 52.32 in the two decimal places. But at the finally, did I get 0 as reminder? No. So I didn't divide it equally. I just Okay, guys. Okay, so see here that finally, if you take, I didn't get 0 as my reminder. I just only got, uh, like a reminder. So when I get a reminder, but I didn't get 0 as reminder, then what can you say? That is, I didn't finish, I didn't divide it equally. So because of that reason, I can't say that this is equal. I can't say like that. I have to use the symbol approximate like this. I have to use this symbol. Why should I use this symbol? Because I didn't divide. Okay, because I didn't divide it equally. I got a reminder. I didn't get a 0. I got a reminder, so I didn't divide it equally. So I have to use this symbol only, not equal. So what should I say? That is square root of this number is what? Is approximate 52.32. Okay, this is the answer towards two decimal places. Did you all understand? Okay. Now let's do another question. Okay, another question. So if you take here, okay, if you take this another question, let's do it. Yeah. Okay. See here, all of these time we were doing division, right? Okay. So all of this time we were doing division method. Now what are we going to do here is, okay, we are going to find, okay, we are going to do some word problems, or you can say, okay, we are going to solve the problems, okay, word problems by using square root. We are going to solve all the, okay, we are going to solve some word problems, okay, by using square root. How are we going to do that? Okay, now let's take one question first of all. That is, they are asking you, okay, remember that they are asking you to find, okay, they are asking you to find the length of a side of a square with an area of 441 square centimeters. They are asking you to find the length of a side of a square, okay, length of a side of a square where the area is 441 square centimeters. How can you do that? That is, if you take a square, you know all the four sides are equal. And if you take all the length are also equal. Okay, if I take one length as A, here also if I take it as A, what is the area of square? Length into length. If you multiply, that is A squared. So area of a square is how much? That is A squared. So we can say area of a square is equals to A squared. So what is the area they have already given? That is 441. 441 is equals to A squared. Now you all know in this square A is the length. Now they are also asking you to find the length of this. This is the length. So they are asking you to find the length of one side. Length of one side. What will you do? You have to find the length of only A, one side. So how will you do that? To take this one separately, you have to take this square to other side. When you take square to other side, what will happen? It will become square root. Always remember that. When you take a square to the other side, it will become square root. Now what's the square root of 441? For that, you have to do the division method. Let's separate 441. And here, same, what's the closest square root that you have? That is 1. That is how much? Can you take closest? No, guys, you all can't do that. Why? Because already square is given, perfect square, 4. What are the two numbers? If you multiply, you'll get 4. 2 into 2. 2 into 2 are 4. 4 minus 4 will give you 0. Bring the 41 here. Multiply this top 2 by 2. Then how much will you get? You will get 4 here and a square here, and after that here also another square. Now say me which number if I multiply here. Okay, which number if I multiply here so that I will get 1 in the last digit. That is 1 only. 1 multiplied by 1 will give you 1. So I'll take 1 here. Another one. 41 multiplied by 41 is how? 41 multiplied by 1 is how much? 41 itself. Then here 0, no. So 41 minus 41 is how much? That is 0. Okay. So here we divided this equally. So what's the square root of this 441? That is 21. So you can say, okay, you show the method, okay. So you can say that A, okay, the length A is equals to how much? A is equals to 21 centimeter. That means length of a side of a square is how much? Length of a side of a square is 21 centimeter. Did you understand? That's how they will ask you some questions. Now let's go to the last question. That is, if they ask you, okay, nicely listen. Now they are saying, okay, remember that they are saying that you have a what? Example number 2, you have a garden. It's okay, that garden if you take, you can say garden or you can even call it as courtyard. Okay, now in this garden, they have made it by using tiles. Okay, they have made it by using the tiles. Now they are saying that the area of this garden, sorry, the area of this garden is how much? That is 900 square centimeters. Area of this garden is 900 square centimeters. When the area is 900 square centimeters, they are saying this is made up of what? Tiles. It is totally made up of tiles. But how many tiles do you have? You have around 324 tiles. You have around 324 tiles. So now, first of all, what should you do? They are asking you to find one thing. What is it? Their question is, they are asking you to find the length of a side of a courtyard. Length of a side of a courtyard. Nicely remember. Find the length of a side of a courtyard. Okay. For that, to find that, first of all, what you have to do is you have to find the number of the tiles that you have in one row. If you take this garden is made up of tiles, how many tiles? 324 tiles. And the area of this garden is 900 square centimeters. And if it is made up of tiles, you will have several rows like this. Okay. To find that, first of all, how many tiles do you have in one row? In per row, you have to find it. Okay. Then only you can find the length of one side. Then only you can find the length of one side. So first of all, let's find how many tiles do you all have in one row. So to find the number of, okay, to find the number of tiles, okay, per row, remember that to find the number of tiles per row, how many tiles do you have? 324. Okay, 324. You had to take the square root of 324. How can you take the square root of it? Divide it. 324 space. So in 3, what's the closest square you can take? 1. 1, 1. If you multiply 1 by 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. 1 multiply by which number now? 2, so that you can bring it here. So 2 into 1 are how much? 2, keep a square. 24, bring it down. So what is that number you have to multiply to get 24 here? What do you think? 1, 2, no, you can't take it like that. Like around 8? Yeah, put a square 8. If you take 8 and 8, 28 multiply by 8. 8 8s are how much? 64. 8 2s are 16 plus 6 is how much? 22. See, perfectly we are in 224. Now, subtract this. 0 0. Then what's the answer that you are getting? 18. Answer is 18. Okay, so how many tiles do you have per row? You have 18 tiles per row. We found it out by finding the square root. Now what are we going to do here is we are going to find out, okay? We are going to find out the length of one side. Okay, in this, what's the length of one side? Now, courtyard, the area if you take is how much? 900. When the area is 900, you know you will have one length. Okay, I have to find the length of one side. We can find it. How? Area is equals to how much? Equals to a squared. So area is 900 into a squared. So length of one side, if you want to find, how can you find it? That is, take this square to this side, will become square root 900. How much is it? You already know. No need to divide and find this. Why? 900 means 30 multiplied by 30 will give you 900. So what's your square root of 900? That is 30 centimeters. So length of one side is how much? 30 centimeter. Did you understand? After that, what you have to do here is they are asking you what's the main thing. Find the length of a side of a courtyard of your garden. Find the length of the side. Okay. Find the length of the side of your garden. How can you find it? For that, you have to take all the number of the tiles that you have in one row and multiply it by the what? One side of the length. If you multiply it, you can get all the length of the, you can get the length of the side of whole courtyard. What you have to do, you have to take the total tiles in one row, that is 18 tiles, and you know how much is one length of a side, that is 30. If you multiply both, you can get the length of what? Length of the side of your courtyard fully. This is only one. No, if you take total together multiply, you will get the length of total courtyard, length of a side of the total courtyard. How can you do that? That is, to get the length of side of a courtyard, take 18 tiles total in one row, multiply it by one side 30. Okay, one side 30. Then how much will you get? 18 multiplied by 30. Let's take 18 multiplied by 3 first of all, and can put 0 below. 8 into 3 is a how much? 24. 2, 3 into 1 is a 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, so how much are you getting? 54, but 0 is balance, so 540 square centimeters will, so centimeter, sorry, 540 centimeter will be your length of a side of a courtyard. But they don't want the centimeter, they want meter always. So convert the centimeter to meter. How can you do that? You have 1 meter is, you all know, right? 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeter means, now centimeter, I'm going to convert it to meter. For that, what should I do? Divide by 100. So 540, no? So if you divide 540 by 100, how much will you get? 54 divided by now 10. Then 5.4. So how much will you get? 5.4 5.4 meters. 5.4 meters will be the length of a side of a court. Yeah, did you all understand? 5.4 meter will be your answer. Okay. Okay. Did you all okay? So I hope that you all understood this lesson. Okay. Make sure to practice questions as much as possible. Then only you all can get good marks. Okay. Okay, guys. Take care. Bye.